Hey guys, Chris Burch here, Entrepreneur Strategies. Just wanted to chime in and drop a little bit of information. I did an interview about 2 weeks ago with my boy Kris Haskins on YouTube. And that interview was with small business funding and how I was able to get approved for over $70,000 of no personal guarantee, strictly in the name of my LLC. I'm here to report 2 weeks later that funding has now been increased to $100,500 in non-personal guaranteed business funding. So take a look at this video. I'm going to put down in the description here a link. You can click the link. It'll take you to Fund and Grow. It'll show you their whole program. You can register there, sign up there, schedule a consultation, whatever you want to do, but the link will be in the description below. So let's roll the tape.
You're just a beast. A few things I wanted to chat with you. I was thinking about you as I was talking with another guy. I talked to a guy yesterday by the name of Mark Evans. You seen this guy online?
No.
I think he's had a private plane, but he's got 98 businesses. I mean, anyway. Huge entrepreneur, right?
Right.
But I wasn't prepared to talk to him. When I met Patrick Bet-David, I have a video of what he says. Patrick Bet-David says he takes 22 hours of research before he talks to his mentors. And Chris, I wanted to ask you, when you talk to your mentors, do you prepare to talk to them before you talk to them?
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, I just wrote down Mark Evans. So
I'm glad you did that. Check this out. So he starts firing out. Thank you, Bubba. You want to say hello? Bubba want to say what up, everybody.
Hello. What's up? How are you?
Say it again, Chris.
I said, what's up? How are you?
Good.
Good.
All right. I'll be in there in a minute, bro. Please don't act too much like a crazy person, but pull that door. I want to see some tights, bro. Oh, as he's talking, he's like, man, you don't know. He started naming out names. Boom. You don't know this guy here? Boom, boom, boom. He lives in Virginia Beach. Boom. This guy owns a restaurant at the beach.
Wow.
And he doesn't even live in Virginia, Chris. I'm like, okay. I got a whole list of notes. I wasn't prepared. We had met on. Anyway. My next thing I wanted to ask you, Chris, I'm sorry, round up. I got an entrepreneur here, Chris /client/ real estate investor. He's gonna show you how he just was able to raise $72,000 in business lines of credit. We're gonna get to that. But Chris, another thing Patrick Bet-David said, he said is a $100 million guy not gonna hang out with $1 million guy, $100,000 guy. They're not quite gonna hang out with $1 million guy. Tell me your opinion on that, Chris, regarding just the words that we use, the conversation, the resources. Mm-hmm. What is your thoughts on that, man?
At first, I used to be intimidated by it. I would hear the dollar amount that their net worth, and to me, not to go off track, but to me, I never understood, never researched what net worth was. Mm-hmm. I heard the term used, and I hear someone say, oh, someone's net worth is $5 million.
Yeah.
But it's actually your assets, what you own or what you control, added to what you owe.
Yeah. So
they use that term net worth kind of freely. Mm-hmm. You know, my net worth, if I own a $300,000 house, is my income plus the value of that house.
Minus the debt.
Right. Minus the debt. But no, I mean, talking to someone who is more financially well off than I don't get intimidated.
Well, I'm just saying he's not necessarily having a conversation. He says hanging out. Okay. Like spending time with different guys.
I mean, what I found, I've done it. The conversation is totally different. Totally different. Yeah.
It's like night and day.
Yeah. No.
So you've experienced the same thing. I guess you and I kind of clicked. The conversation is almost like the conversation going on in both of our heads. I'm like, what do you think about this? And you're like, man, I'm just thinking that same. Yeah. I'm excited about your channel too, man. I'm so glad to see. What's the name of your channel, by the way, Kris? You can tell my round-uppers.
So if you actually just do a search right now, so I can't officially name the channel. I don't have a / yet, because you actually have to have 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
To actually name it.
That's cool.
If you search my name with investing or my name with real estate, it'll pop up. You'll see my mugshot there.
I'm just excited to be able to talk to entrepreneurs, man. You know, it's like, last thing, I got to ask you this one last thing. I notice when people, like, for instance, people will meet me, I might do a coffee and I'm like, they're not prepared. And I'm not saying I'm not good, bad, right, or wrong. You know, I think the way I process stuff, and even when I meet you, I have my notebook out, open, taking notes, both of us actually. So we're writing down, jotting down stuff. When newbie investors meet with you, Kris, are they ready to take notes? Tell me how they are prepared when they talk to you about deals or just real estate in general?
I mean, for me, a newbie investor initially wants to know, what do I know? What can I help them with? What can I share with them? And I kind of backtrack and say, well, there's a million things that we could talk about, but let's figure out, what is it? First of all, where are you? Where are you in your career of business, your career financially, or what are you trying to achieve? You might not have a business, you might not be investing, you might not be in real estate, but you're trying to figure out how can you get out of the rat race of working your regular job, which is great, but you're looking for something different, and you're hearing, oh, well, Burch or Kris Haskins is talking about, I'm doing this deal and I'm doing that deal and I'm getting approved for finance, and then they're confused because there's so much information. And I think for me, explaining to especially a new investor is to slow down, to like really think about what is it that you want to do. You know, I mean, for me, I've always been intrigued by real estate, but up until 4 years ago, I never actively did it because I was thinking, well, you know, I run a business. I'm trying to avoid any and all liability, and if I'm going for a traditional loan, they're looking at me like I'm crazy. You know,
that's right.
You don't qualify.
Why would they, just for my round-uppers that may not be able to understand, my W-2ers perhaps, that may not understand, why would a banker look at you crazy, Kris?
They consider a business owner. I'm gonna try to explain it simple.
Yeah, approximately.
All right, approximately. If you are a single person, a single individual that run your own business, usually you'll be set up as either a sole proprietor or a single member LLC. Unfortunately for the financial world, the traditional bank, they consider all of your business profit, your profit, all of your business debt, your debt, and then all of your liabilities in that business go against your debt to income ratio that they use.
Wow.
So I don't want to do like a big example of it, but if, I don't know, you could make 50 grand a year, not a bad income. But if the company owes 30,000 on a piece of equipment, as a single member LLC, that debt is passed through to you as the business owner, and they're going to use that ratio to say, oh, you only make 20. The only money we can consider is the 20, which is the difference between what's owed and what you bring in. So it's unfortunate, but
that's cool.
And since then, I've learned many, many different ways to not be in that position. Yeah.
It's so crazy. I'm talking to my wife, looking at our tax returns. I'm like, man, anybody would loan us money now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're throwing money. I don't get it. Why do they only loan freaking money to people that have money? It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, man. Part of capitalism, huh?
It is.
Marcus Lamona says, when you got money, you can always get more. God, I just, anyway, that's why I'm here to raise your financial literacy roundup, family. I love you. I promise you. I love you. I want to bring you over, man. I don't know where you're at, but Kris, let's talk about these lines of credit. As I was doing a financial statement today, I'm looking at my subject to houses, right? I remember Ron says it doesn't even count against your debt to income, which when I talked to my banker, he's like, dude, I don't see the loans on your credit. They don't even count it, man. They don't even count it against your debt to income, Kris.
No, they don't.
It's ludicrous, man. So I don't even know how to. It's like an infinite return. All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Kris, Burch, Maryland, DC, Virginia area. Would that be true for you?
That would definitely be true.
Rounduppers, Kris is going to explain to you, and I put the link in the video description. You know your boy has negotiated a huge discount for this funding with Fund and Grow. You got to use my link in the video description to get this discount. All you got to do is fill out the little opt-in. They'll call you, which they did with Kris. Tell me about your experiences with Fund and Grow on this lender, Kris. Start from, first of all, give my rounduppers who you are, what you do, Kris.
Yeah, man. So, as you know, my name is Kris Burch. I am a business owner, entrepreneur, real estate investor, looking to share what I know. I unfortunately came from the school of hanging out with a bunch of people that never wanted to share the information with me. And Kris and I have been talking now for over a year, I guess now.
Yeah, last Christmas.
Yeah, it was like end of whatever
18
last year. Yeah, over a year now. And what struck me, especially with Kris's channel, is sharing the information. And us as entrepreneurs, I mean, the same thing you were just saying. When you get into a room with a bunch of like-minded people, and the conversation changed. So Kris and I, we share some personal stories and shoot ideas back and forth on different things he might be doing, different things I might be doing. But I think I have an obligation, I know Kris feels the same way, is to share the information that we've been able to retain and then put that out there into the marketplace to maybe help the next person not have to do the same, bang your head against the wall trying to figure out how to do it. And, I think sharing the information is key for me.
Yeah. Especially with that last rehab you did. Good God. I imagine you probably had to go to the hospital after that one. Exactly.
Or a liquor store.
So give me your overview of starting out with Fund and Grow, Kris. Tell me how you got rock and rolling with them.
Yep. So same way you have that link down below, I clicked the link. I was able to get Kris's discount. Immediately it showed me I could either pay. So there is we can go back, but there is a fee to do it. But I'm going to explain to you how I did it without actually paying the fee.
Gotcha. That's sharp.
So there's a fee. You get a discount from Kris's code. There's a fee to sign up. And I just used a business credit card that I had, 4 months ago, 0%, that I already had in my business. I signed up, boom, done.
Wow.
So not everyone's able to do that. But what's cool about Fund and Grow is they actually give you a payment plan option too. So I was kind of skeptical to say, well, do I want to do it? Or, do I want to pay a fee? Why am I paying a fee to get funding? You go to a bank, you fill out 10 million pieces of paperwork, and you still get a denial. And I watched you and, a couple guys from the company talk, and I know Kris can always be honest with people and ask the right questions. And in hearing him speak, he answered all the right questions. He was like, well, we don't guarantee any dollar amount, but we do guarantee if you have the credit score that they're looking for, if you don't have the derogatory items that they're looking for, they're going to guarantee funding for you. So I went online and filled out the application, and what was it? The next day, I got an email. I was assigned to a person at the company. We set up a phone call 2 or 3 days later, sat down one afternoon, called him. We were able to go through kind of their basic application. They pulled my personal credit just to make sure there was nothing outstanding, there was nothing overdue, there were no derogatory items. I personally wasn't concerned about that. I've been extremely vigilant about following my personal credit and figuring out where I am, you know, at least on a quarterly basis. I think most small business people do that because, unfortunately, if you're going the traditional route in lending, they're going to pull your credit no matter what.
Yeah,
you know. Or they're going to ask for a personal guarantee. So this was about a 3-week process.
So December when you
reached
out to the
it was mid to late December that we did the application. The gentleman Brandon that I've been working with has been really receptive. He responds to emails. I had a couple questions for him on how this will reflect, because if they're pulling personal credit, you're going to get some inquiries, right? But what they also do is they work with the credit bureaus at the same time to get those removed.
Gotcha.
Right. So it's first of all, it's not a hard pull. If your Roundup family knows what a hard pull is, it's a soft pull. It's just to check to make sure Kris doesn't owe some bank. Kris doesn't have a lien against a piece of property. IRS, whatever. Something that could jump in the way of getting approval. So we did that. I got an email about almost 3 weeks after we did our initial consultation. And he said, great, we got good news. We have approval from 2 lines already, 18,000 a piece.
That's crazy.
All right. And so we talked, and he had mentioned, and I'll share with your guys as well. In business, you know this, but when you're applying for credit, especially with using a company like Fund and Grow, these lenders are going to reach out to you. They're going to try to call you and email you and verify. Don't respond. Don't, because you're going to get in your own way.
Mess it up.
Yep, you're going to get in your own way. I can tell you from my experience, Fund and Grow knows what they're doing. You know,
yeah, they've got those personal. I'm presuming they have personal relationship with the underwriters. Kris, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, I think they do. In addition, if you think about it, like with a mortgage lender, a mortgage lender usually underwrites a loan because they're going to sell it to a larger institution. So even if Fund and Grow doesn't have the direct contact, they know this, that, and they know exactly what to put.
What they want, yeah.
Yep.
Which I know I have no clue. I don't know about you. I don't know what
they're looking for. But
yeah,
man.
So you've been in business forever. Do you think that helped you? Did you think it was irrelevant because some of my rounduppers are new to this? I mean, did you do a new LLC, Kris? Tell me about how that looked.
No. So, I mean, here's the funny part. I didn't need the funding, right? I didn't need it. I didn't have a specific use for it.
Right now. I mean, like you're not like
I wasn't sitting there saying, oh, I hope I get this funding, because if I don't get this funding, we're going to be out of business in January. You know, it wasn't that scenario. But I'm working on 3 active real estate projects that I don't know I have a plan. I don't know what exactly we're going to do with it. But I also said, well, at 0% interest on 3 lines of credit for $72,000 for the next 12 to 18 months, why not pay off some of the existing loans that I have, pay those down over the next 12 months at 0%, and I'm now debt free. I've now not only taken the assumed debt that I had before I got the funding with Fund and Grow,
moved it over.
I'm now balance transferring over debt.
Wow. That
my business already had, right? And now I can pay down the debt that I was at, probably 9 or 10% on the equipment loan for one piece. do a balance transfer, take the Fund and Grow funding, pay that off in full. That's now going to get reported onto our business line of credit that they now satisfied that debt. I now have a new debt, but I'm at 0% interest, making the same payment that I was already making. Right? So
it's gangster.
Yeah.
Gangster dog.
It's what you said. It's the conversation that's being held in the room that none of us are in. And I've heard it, and I never agreed with it, but it's leveraging debt.
Wait, how do you mean by that, Kris? Leveraging debt. Okay, I know we can leverage a whole bunch of stuff, but what do you mean leveraging debt?
So if I pay 10% on an equipment loan on $100,000, right? So I'm paying 10%. If I can pay that off with a 0% rate and pay that down, I'm saving about $11,000 a year.
I see what you're saying. You're literally
not having
buying
interest incurred. Yep.
You're
on
buying,
the original.
I see what you're doing. You're literally buying back that interest.
Yep.
By paying it right now. I mean, you're paying the fee.
I'm paying off 100% of the principal today with a new line that I'm not going to be paying interest on. And then I can pay that down with no interest on it for the next 12 months and be free and clear.
Round up. I got to cut you off, Kris. Thank you for joining us.
Sure.
You're just getting, I always got to remember people are coming in and going. If you're just joining us, this is Kris Haskins, and I'm hanging out with Chris Burch up in Maryland, the DMV area, as they say. He's an entrepreneur / real estate investor, I guess real estate entrepreneur. And he just recently got $72,000 in business lines of credit with Fund and Grow. And he's actually explaining to us the process for him and how we actually got through it. And he was able to, matter of fact, we're giving you a discount if you sign up through the link below on the subscription with Fund and Grow. Tell me how it was interacting with them, Kris. I know a lot of lenders, I feel like we almost have to chase them down. Tell me about that, the interfacing.
Yeah, I mean, I signed up. I made the first payment. I got an email the next day from an associate at Fund and Grow saying, hey, this is the person who's been assigned to you. We've scheduled an appointment for next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Does this work for you? Click here. If it does, you check the box. And the next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, Brandon called. We talked about it.
That's crazy.
I mean, it was real simple.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Sharp. So what do you think for people that don't perhaps have an LLC, Kris? I know I had another client on here a few weeks back. They didn't have an LLC, like somebody that was established like you. Did they tell you how that worked? Or how did you do yours? Well, did you do a new LLC or did you?
I didn't. I did it in an existing LLC.
Okay.
For two reasons. Most lenders that you deal with don't report your business payments to the credit bureau, to Dun & Bradstreet or your business credit line. They actually don't report that because they have to pay to report that information. So a lot of lenders, even banks, do not report that information. So I said, well, I need to work on building the existing LLC first. That's been in good standing for 14 years, 15 years. But if I pull the Dun & Bradstreet report for my business, there's nothing there. All of the loans that I ever had in the name of the business, none of them were personal. These institutions were never reporting my payments. So I wasn't building business credit.
Gotcha.
So my first consultation with Fund and Grow was, this is my strategy. I want to use an existing business that's in good standing, but doesn't necessarily report high in business credit, not because we don't have it, but unfortunately, none of our lenders were actually doing it. No one was actually reporting that information. So with that initial consultation, they understood exactly what I was trying to do and said that they would definitely recommend using that to build the business. So to answer your question, I don't think that's any different than someone starting a new business and them helping you build it. You might not get the top tier of funding when you start out because you don't have anything to show. But think about it. that LLC that I'm a member of has been in existence since 2004 and shows like it's a new business because nobody's been reporting on it.
Not yet.
Right. Well, not yet. So that's the strategy. So now Fund and Grow actually is going to work with me in making sure that these lines are constantly updated and constantly reported as I pay down the new debt that was created.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. So what do you have planned for your capital, Kris? I mean, I like it when you said it's always good when you don't need it to do the deal. I mean, if it's like, I could use it, but it's not like I'm not going to die tomorrow without it.
Yep.
It seems like you get more when you don't need it. What is are you using it for construction or acquisition, business?
So some of it is going to be for acquisition. Some of it has already been used for acquisition. Some of it is we're actually been working with a couple local investors that have been learning more about what we're doing and the strategies that we're using. But I think initially for the Fund and Grow was to test it.
Gotcha.
I wanted to test it. I wanted to see what would come back. And then they come back with $72,000. I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to work this. We're going to work this.
Roundup, if you're just joining us, Kris Burch is hanging out with me tonight, just talking about how he just obtained a $72,000 business line of credit. So that is not tied to your personal, Kris. However, you did have to do a personal application. How does that work, Kris?
Yeah, so they just do a basic inquiry. They found something from like 5 years ago that noted as a late payment.
Wow, that's still on there?
It was just sitting there. So we're going to contest that and get that removed. I mean, I'm able to document that it wasn't a late payment. It was paid off. But I mean, it's good because they help you strategize, because it didn't show when I pull my personal credit, it wasn't on there. But when they pulled it, they saw it.
Wow.
So I think some of the systems that they're using are not the standard system that's sent out to any average consumer. Yeah.
Consumer, yeah. They probably got that stuff that the credit bureaus are pulling.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is cool, man. We'll get to some Q&A roundup. Get your questions answered by people that are actually going through these systems, using these vendors to actually grow their business, people that are actually obtaining these lines. Kris is walking the walk. And the man called me the other day. I'm like, okay, we got to share this, man. This is just crazy. People breaking their necks and doing all this type of stuff to go get loans and just for you. Is there any different? Tell me about what the documentation that you had to turn in, Kris. Was it extensive, or was it more like a background, or how did that work?
I didn't turn in any documents.
Wow.
Nothing.
Holy cow.
They pulled the state records to make sure the LLC was in good standing, which is a State Department of Taxes. They pull that just to make sure that it's not forfeited or in delinquency of any kind. And I laugh all the time because I didn't know that many years ago. So our LLC status for the last 15 years has been revived.
What does that mean?
Meaning Kris didn't know what he was doing when he started out and had to pay the consequence of doing some paperwork with the state. So now our status is not bad. It's not good. It's considered revived.
Basically, revived means to me that you almost died.
Yeah, right. No, it means that I paid whatever fee that I was supposed to pay that I didn't know about. And then they came back and said, oh, you're good again.
Gotcha. We all go through that. I probably had it 3-4 times, man, in the last 14 years.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's due. Well, ours is due in Virginia by the end of January.
Okay.
And I got this letter here, Kris. They actually are letting us file online now. We don't have to mail it in. Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
Finally let you file. Good Lord.
Yeah, man. Hey, Kris, I actually, you made me think of it.
What?
Let me grab it.
Get your questions in, rounduppers.
You know, you and I have a a common interest. This is a little bit off subject, but I think it's so relevant for guys to understand. If you look here, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That is my statement. That is my interest payment.
Gotcha.
So I have a personal house that I pay a mortgage on.
That's from your 1098 from your mortgage company.
That is correct. And you and I have talked many a times, and I've seen you do it. And I think your roundup should really, if they have a mortgage, try to strategize a way to do it.
What?
Kris Burch, for 2019, paid $10,415 in interest.
Okay.
Right? But I did math recently, and if I just take $125 every Friday down to the bank and put it in there, I'm going to knock out 10 years of interest payments by doing that.
Godly. Kris, yeah, we need to hold another. That's a whole nother video.
Yeah. But I got the statement today, and I'm like, that's exactly why I'm going to take my 125 every Friday and put it principal only against my mortgage.
You know, they actually don't like that.
I know. They made it sound like I couldn't do it when I went. Oh, we can't do that. We can't do that at the teller line.
You're out of your mind.
Yep.
I would have been like, okay, well, give me somebody who. They don't want you to do it. The system wants to keep you in debt for your whole life.
Yep. Yep.
You know what? What's crazy is we are blind. Well, I know I was just blindly walking like, you know what? I'll just be in debt for the rest of my life. I mean, if I would have met you in 2008, I just thought I'd be in debt for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's a common ideology for a lot of people in America, Kris.
Yeah. I think it's, when you say an ideology, I think it's because they're not willing to invest in themselves to understand why I don't have to do it that way. Just because my friend's doing that way or whatever. I remember when I bought my house in 2016, I had a very low interest rate. Like 3.8, 3.85, right?
Nice.
I had a good friend of mine lives down not far from you. It said to me, "Oh man, that rate, I'd ride that off into the sunset." Right? So he's thinking, "Oh, that's a low interest rate. I'll just keep paying on that for like 30 years, no big deal." And my mind's thinking, I need to look at the amortization schedule and figure out how much am I just like throwing away.
That's away.
Yeah.
So you're saving. I mean, I calculated when I paid mine off, I saved $50,000 in interest.
Yeah.
Kris, the magic comes in when you take that same income and you start paying off the next loan. Man, you talk about I think they call it a velocity bank. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, shoot. If you just paid $125 a week principal only in 1 year, that's what? 125 times 52, $6,500. I invest that in something. I'll put it towards something that's going to generate more than me just spinning my wheel in interest.
Well, you know what though, man? I think it comes from being like I literally have I keep a amortization table on my desk just to remind me if you pay one payment here, it drops you down. It just eats that interest up.
Yeah, and you look at payment number 1 through 15 years, it's all front loaded. Yep,
all interest.
Yep.
Let's get back. Sorry, but we digress. I thought we were talking about loans here, but
sure,
Kris, let's get to some quick Q&A, and then we'll come back because I think that some questions I want to get to them before they get too sleepy on us tonight.
Definitely.
Kris, thank you so much. I always get good content when I'm talking to you, my friend.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, that was some other here. Mind stroke. Hey, apart from the pre-qualification, how is the hard pull dealt with between application and funding rounds? We need to talk about funding rounds too, Kris, because I didn't understand that at first.
Yep. So apart from the qualification,
I
All
guess
right,
the funding rounds, do they do a pull every funding round?
yes. So what they'll do, so my next round will probably be the end of April. They'd like to do about every 3 months. So back many years ago, most credit bureaus would only post quarterly, which is every 3 months. Now they actually post monthly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. So your data on your credit is being updated much more rapidly. So now by the end of this month, I know one of my credit cards posts on the 11th of every month.
Mm-hmm.
Another line of credit posts on a different day of every month, and they know that because they can go in there and see which day all these different lenders post, and then they'll say, okay, you need, and they told me this before January 11th, a couple weeks or a week and a half ago, make sure the balance due on that one card is below a certain dollar amount. So when they post it on the 11th, it now shows Kris knocked out 60% of that card.
Wow. So they can see your lines and they can tell you how to actually interact with them.
Yep.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Wow. These dudes
and I'll tell you, the great part is the credit bureaus, when they do that hard pull initially, all the business credit that I already have, even if it was outstanding or overdue or even delinquent, they don't see any of that stuff.
Nice.
So they're giving you business lines based on your initial credit pull.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And this does not go on the actual debt does not go on your personal credit, Kris?
Nope, not at all.
Nice.
Not at all.
Robel, hey, Kris, how long did it take from your initial contact with Fund and Grow until you received funding?
So as I said, we applied mid to late December. The first correspondence I got from Brandon, I'll tell you factual info. I'm gonna tell you because it's so recent. We're in what, 21st of December, of January. And I got an approval email from Brandon on January 14th.
Nice. A week.
Yep.
Week ago. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And that was an email saying that you've already been approved for 2 lines, 18 apiece, and you have 3 more lines that are pending. And now since that email, we now have accumulated a total of $72,500. So
how do you get? Do they mail you credit cards? Do they have a bank account with a line of credit? How do you get this?
Well, I will tell you, that's one of them.
Gotcha. Look at this.
And then, I don't want you having all my personal details. That's another one.
Bank of America.
And then another Big Daddy right there.
MX.
Yep. So they are business lines of credit that I can use that card just the same as cash in the name of the business and buy, invest, do whatever I want with it.
What are you going to recommend for people, since you understand how debt works, how money works? Regarding it can either be just like time. We can either spend time or invest time. Money, you can spend it or invest it. What are you going to recommend for people that are kind of new getting into using debt to make money, Kris?
I've never been a huge fan of it. I've always, there's a reason. I never qualified to create debt. So that's the first reason. By default, I learned how to manage money with a debit card and with weekly income. I learned how to budget it first.
Gotcha.
But for someone starting out new, I don't think it's that much different.
Well, you got the lines. I'm saying those lines. When I say debt, I'm talking about this.
Yeah, the new lines. If one of your round-uppers gets approved for what, 10,000, right?
Whatever, 1,500. Yeah, I see. People are getting approved up to 150,000 for this stuff.
Sure, but I'm thinking someone new, maybe their credit is decent, I know Fund and Grow has criteria. They like to be above, I think, 700, maybe 720, something like that.
Gotcha.
Do something smart with it. You know, do something smart with it. I personally go with what I know from experience. But if you're starting out, get the line of credit. Sit down maybe with someone like Kris, you know, schedule a consultation. You know, if you're really getting started, I know Kris does consultations. He'd be happy to swipe your card and show you something of how to do what he does.
Yeah.
Or someone like me that can show, that can show you from experience what we do.
They could get some signs done from you too at Print Equity, right?
Right. You could invest in your business. Yeah, that's very true. Invest in your business, get some business cards and some signs, and you buy houses and, you know, full price offer, and, you know, don't put it towards something that's not gonna have a possibility of return.
Don't put it to something that doesn't have a return.
Yep.
Do you have a mental picture you can give my rounduppers, Kris? I know everybody's listening to me on that stuff, but I want to know what has no possibility of return. Well, what do you categorize that as?
Do not go put a down payment on a new car.
Gotcha. All right, next.
Do not use it to do something frugal as terms of shopping or going out and doing something you have no business doing.
Gotcha.
Use it to invest in a course that's going to teach you something. Use it to invest in a book or literature or something that's going to improve your knowledge base,
Gotcha.
whatever it may be.
It's important to hear this, Kris, because I promise you I didn't know this before. Yeah. I remember when I got my publishing deal, man, with $200,000. I'm like, I thought I had made it. I'm like, we're done. We done. We here. We is here. We made it.
You made it. Then Uncle Sam sent you a bill with your liability for income. You realized I only get to keep about 60% of that. Yeah, right.
You know, they audited me when we got that publishing deal, by the way.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
They were like, you went from making $4,000 to you didn't pay any taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. Yeah. Facebook user, I don't see your name, Kris. What tax documents did they ask you to turn in when you, or here we go. Or you had to provide when you were dealing with Fund and Grow for your lines of credit?
I sent them no documents.
Man, that's deep.
Yeah, I sent them nothing. So it's an existing LLC that's been active for 15 years. Mm-hmm. They wanted to see we're in good standing in the state, and they wanted to see that we had no debts or liens against the business, and that's about it.
Gotcha. Nice. Shannon, hey, before I get to Shannon Rounduppers, I got to continue to remind you I'm hanging out with Kris Burch here, real estate entrepreneur. Just got $72,000 in business lines of credit from Fund and Grow. The link is in the video description below for you to get signed up or at least see what you qualify for. It's free to do that. You don't have to pay to do that. So.
Yeah.
Shannon, hey, Shannon, what are the fees to use the program and the service there, Kris?
So Fund and Grow's, if you went to fundandgrow.com, it's around $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
If you use Kris's link, it's $3,500.
Yeah.
But what I ended up doing was setting up a payment plan, and they allow you to do that. You can do 3 payments, and I think it was $1,333, and I made 3 payments of $1,333.
Gotcha. So
and I mentioned this before. The balance that I used, or the card that I used, was a business card, and it's about to go on to one of these suckers, because I'm moving the money I spent over to something that I'm not paying interest on for the next year.
Mm-hmm. So using debt to get more. I'm telling you, when you got money, you can get more of it.
Yeah.
You have to believe, though. You have to believe that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you got another benefit too.
What's that?
The card that I used, when it reports next month, it's now going to show 0 balance, and it's going to further bring your business score up, because you now just paid it down.
That's right. You paid it down below 50% or at 0.
Yeah, 0.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Round up, get your questions in for Kris so we can get them answered. Tiffany, do they look at your personal credit, or do they just look at your business credit, Kris?
They looked at the status of the business, make sure we're in good standing, and they pulled a soft pull on my personal credit. And yes, there were some faults on my personal credit. Nothing major, but there were some dings in there that they said, hey, we need to get this off because when we go to the second round, we now need to show that's not there, and that's going to bring it even further forward.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Cal, your videos are life-changing. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, Kris, he has a good point there.
What's that?
You actually got me started back reading books. I haven't read books in like 15 years. You
are joking, Kris.
I'm serious, man. I'm serious. It's the whole mindset of hearing someone else sharing financial literacy from experience. And it's like, wow, all this stuff is here. Why am I wasting my time turning on some junk on the television when I can invest that same time reading a book?
Were you a TV watcher before we started hanging out?
Fortunately, I've never been a big TV watcher.
Okay.
So
what were you doing with your time?
Business, strategizing, always having another conversation. Unfortunately, early on in business, I was my own bookkeeper.
What?
So, yeah, it was a nightmare. Don't ever do that.
I'd rather put a bullet in my head do that.
You well, not only that, you will have no life if you start running your business, managing the business, in the business, and you're doing the books.
You're done.
You're done.
You're done. Not to mention it only costs. Well, I pay mine $200 a month. I don't know what you pay.
I'm $250. So yeah,
right. Just pay them to do it, dog. Kris, I'm honored, man. Like Cal, I'm so honored. Thank you. All I'm doing is trying to get a message out, bro.
Yeah.
Shay, how much is the fee? Kris, how much is the fee? I think you mentioned that real quickly, bro.
It's about $39. Well, with Kris's discount, it's like $3,500.
Yep. So we get a all. If you use my link, the roundup link, you get a $500 discount. Mind Stroke Entertainment. Hard pulls affect credit scores. Since they check personal credit, do the hard pulls? Did we do this one already?
Yeah, we just talked about that. Yep, they're going to work between now and April. Yep.
Al, hey Al, good picture. How much is my consultation? As of today, it's $200. As of today.
Oh, so, you're too cheap, man.
I know this. You know what? I deal with this one. You know what's weird? My wife is on my case.
Mm-hmm.
Too cheap, but yet right now, it's $200. All right, Al. So get in this. It won't be there for long. I just don't have. It's not enough time in the day.
And that's the thing, Kris. I mean, I used to get upset when certain people would say, "Oh, well, I had a fee," and now is like I'm expanding, doing all this other stuff. It's not about making money. I don't have the time.
Nope.
Like, it's costing me $200 in potential loss to talk with somebody for an hour. That's all.
That's right. Yeah. You just joined. Good for you. You just joined. Hey, good. Yeah. Hey, Tony, do you know how we'll see you in Vegas? You coming to Vegas, Kris? Did you? Or you don't know?
Vegas. That's Ron's.
Yeah, Ron. You going to
that? I'm actually. That's end of March.
March 31st. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Do you know who they used to look at your score? Was it Experian, TransUnion, or which one?
That's a I'm blanking on the word. That's a consumer side. When they pull it, they do use them, but they don't pull it like a consumer would look at it.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the back side of that. They're actually pulling it using those three bureaus, yes, but you're not seeing it from the consumer side.
Inside.
Yep.
They probably have their own. I could imagine they have their own repository there that they're linked up with these people, I guess.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Round up, get your questions answered from the man that just got his $72,000 business lines of credit. How many rounds of funding did you go through, Kris?
This is the first round.
Oh, this is just the first one?
First round.
Thought you went to. Okay. Wow. That's crazy.
First round.
First round. So, man, your joint is going to be. You might be just going out buying a full house with yours. Well, yeah, Maryland, you can get a house for 120, 130, right? And
you're going to do a lot of work to it, but yeah, you can buy it.
Yeah, an ugly one.
Yep.
Roundupers, Chris, is just go to the link below. I'll put it in there for you, Roundup, so you can get my discount that Chris already got. Shay, hey, how much do you get with each pull? I guess she's talking about each round of funding. Not sure about the word. Yeah, how much do you get for each round?
I can update everybody in April when we do the second round, but the first round that we just completed was 72.
Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Yep.
So we'll come back in April and see what Chris got on that. It's pretty damn good. D. Howard, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. If my credit score is not high enough and the LLC is in my name, can I use a credit partner or partner who's not named on my LLC to work with Fund and Grow? You know that?
I don't see why not.
I know, yeah.
I would just think that the application would not go in D. Howard's name. It would go in the name of another member of that LLC. And that'd be fine.
Yeah, I would definitely add them to the LLC. Or I know Mike told me when I interviewed him before, just put a co-borrower.
Yeah, exactly.
Co-borrower.
Yeah.
Good point, D. I would do that. Yeah. Depending on how bad you need the funding and how good of a relationship you have with that other person, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, it's so easy. I mean, I know I say it's easy, but it's so easy to add another. It's a simple amendment to your LLC just to add another member.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, probably you would just have to show the amendment was filed, that this person is now added to the membership of the LLC.
There you go.
It's probably not much.
Shannon, hey Shannon, Chris, how long is my discount good for? Oh, that discount is good to go. I mean, it stays on there, but you have to use the Roundup link that they created for us.
Yep.
Yoletta, hey Yoletta, gentlemen, what if I have an LLC from 2011 that hasn't been active since 2012?
As long as it's still reporting as good. I mean, I guess maybe she's saying active, meaning it's showing not active.
Yeah.
But as long as it shows in compliance with the state, wherever you're located, as long as it shows that you're either in good standing or, as I said, revived, as long as it doesn't say not in good standing, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yoletta, yeah, what I'm saying, Mike, before, man, I've had people on here that didn't even have an LLC. So I'm saying for you, it might be a good time to go ahead and make it active again. Sure. I mean, it's not going to hurt. I don't know what state you're in, but
it might be cheaper, depending on how many years you didn't file the state minimum. It might be cheaper just to create a new entity and use that. Yeah,
that is true. That is true. That's a good point, Chris.
You got state fees from 2012 could be way more than the couple hundred a new LLC would be.
Good point.
Yeah,
good point. If you're in Michigan, yeah, I don't know. If you just opt in, put your email, I promise you, they'll get you straight. If they can help you create a new LLC if you need to.
Yeah,
I've seen them do it. All right, brother Chris. Hold on a second. Make sure I always forget to do this before the end. Make sure you take a second to subscribe, Roundup. Hit that like button. Oh, Chris, final thoughts for my real estate rounduppers that are interested in getting their own business lines of credit so they can get some extra capital to move around with, Chris?
I think for me, the one key factor for me was to kind of write down what you want to do with it. So I mentioned tonight what I'm going to actively do with some of it, but I sat down and said, well, I have these options. I could maybe use it to fund one of our real estate projects and use it to rehab property. That wasn't a great strategy because the strategy for the property I was thinking about is going to be long-term. So I'm going to be using zero interest for the first 12 to 18 months, but I'm going to be paying a higher interest rate when interest starts to incur on this property. I mean, of course, I could probably refinance or something at that time, but have a strategy for it. Be smart about what you do with it, and understand that there's multiple rounds. Talk with the people at Fund and Grow, and they'll walk you through. I mean, we had a meeting, a teleconference over the phone, but they understood what I wanted to do, and they understood which creditors to go to for what my purpose was. What did I want to use it for? And they said, great, We know exactly what direction to go.
Wow. So it sounds like, Kris, you kind of had a plan. Being an entrepreneur, business owner, you already can forecast where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us don't have that starting out.
Sure.
I mean, no doubt that's a skill that you've learned over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you develop a thick skin real quick when you don't qualify. Many years ago, I mentioned I didn't qualify for anything.
Yep.
So you figure out how to make it work with what you know.
Yep. Sounds like a true entrepreneur, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Question came in. Tyke, does the use of the credit cards affect your personal credit?
No. It doesn't even show up. They won't even see the lines pop up on your credit.
I love it. Yeah. That is so cool. Kris, I'm excited for you, brother.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. Roundup family, make sure you, before you do any of this crap, get your financial literacy straight here, the real estate between your ears, before you try to go out there and buy some real estate. Because if you think money's your problem, I promise you it's not. It's a strategy problem. Strategy. I mean, Kris, I'm sure he can tell you a million stories about how money. Let me ask you, Kris, has money, for me, I look back, I'm like, man, the stuff that I know now, it's almost like we have figured out ways to print money, like you no doubt done in your business.
Yep.
Do you think that it's wise for my rounduppers to learn how to make money without money first before they try to go get a bunch of debt to try to go do some deals?
100%. 100%. Because, I mean, what's cool about, not cool, when you lose what you have in your pocket, you figure out how to make it again. But if you lose something that you still owe on,
oh man,
you have nothing to pay it with.
Wow.
So I can hear the shovel just digging you deeper and deeper, So yeah, I would not recommend someone just starting out to just go straight out there, jump into it. Just get some information. There's a lot of information. We're sharing it tonight. We're telling you, look, this is a great program, but if you're not ready for it, don't just jump out there. Don't go qualify. Go get the funding, but get advice and get some strategies on what to do with it.
Yeah. It's not a money problem. Just remember this, guys. When you're getting this money, I promise you, Kris and I have both been up and we've both been down.
Yep.
And God, more up than down.
Yeah.
But the money is not going to solve your problem.
No.
You're going to have to fix it. Go ahead, Kris.
I sound like a Tony Robbins saying this, but it was about 2007, 2008 when I heard when you stop working for the money, you won't be able to turn the faucet off.
When you stop working for it.
When you start providing value, providing a product, providing a service, providing the information, providing the education,
whatever,
you're not working for money anymore.
Is that a mindset, Kris, that every entrepreneur needs to kind of, or let me say a hurdle maybe? Because no one that says, get out there and create some value.
Right.
I'd never heard that.
Right. I mean, I had heard that probably in the late 2008, 2009, somewhere in that area of when you can step back and provide something, when you can provide it, people will continue to ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
You can then provide that and get the one thing that when you provide a good service for people, the first thing they do is share it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the first thing.
But just like today, I'm like, man, your skills as an entrepreneur are second to none, so I'm looking forward to your channel. I mean, it's going to be, hopefully one day you will do me the honor of allowing me to be a guest on your channel.
We can do the feature. We can do the introduction to the world of Kris Burch is now, here is Mr. Haskins.
Wow, that'd be cool. You know what's weird? I don't get too many requests to be on other people's channels. It's very weird.
You might be providing too much information, too much value to everybody else.
It might be pissed.
Right. He's showing us how to set up a land trust document and buy stuff that's not in our name. This guy.
Which you did. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. Tomorrow, roundup, if you're buying houses, just like Kris was. I love it. Can I break your balls a little bit?
Without a doubt.
Kris was buying houses in his company name. Were you buying them in your name too? Personal name?
Just like you, I have my personal house. I know you have one of your investment properties.
One left.
Yeah, one left.
Let's do it.
My dumb butt went and signed personally for a 30-year mortgage.
Man, that's not dumb. At least you're in, man.
Right.
I don't want to say people that it's bad, you know.
No, it's fine. But for me in business, and I mean, it's an honest statement. I don't know what predator is looking to hurt me or my entity, so I don't want that information on public record.
Nope.
That's all.
You never know until it's too late, Kris. I promise.
Yeah, the liens placed against your personal house because someone's suing you. And it's like, what?
You're done.
You're done. Yeah.
So now how are you buying houses, Kris, if you don't mind me asking?
I buy each property in its own land trust.
Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. I'm so happy for you. And Kris, how pathetically simple was it to do?
You have to know how to read and sign your name. That's it.
Roundup, join me tomorrow. I don't know if Kris will be available. Maybe I'll bring him in. My Land Trust Master Class is 2 p.m. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you know when we go live, and you can download my Land Trust document packet.
And I'll mention for your listeners too, Kris, the land trust that I use, I bought from Kris.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. Yep. We had to create another document for you, but that was nothing though.
Yeah, it was an addendum. It was something simple.
I'm excited for you, Kris. Your future is so bright, man. Anyway. All right. And how do we get in touch with you, Kris, to possibly order some signs or do business with you?
Yep. So one of our businesses that I created as an online platform for the real estate industry is printequity.com.
Gotcha. Kris does our signs and he'll do your signs. Get some good specials for you. Okay. Anything else, Kris?
Yeah, man. For a lot of you guys watching, just take steps, take simple steps, listen to a bunch of Kris's training. Yes, he's doing a land trust training tomorrow. Go back on his YouTube channel. He's got years of valuable information you can watch for free. I've done it. Just go back and listen, you can learn. It's real estate is actually really, really simple because it's very specific. Kris says it. It's a couple documents, but it has to be specific and it has to be in writing. Mm-hmm. But if you kind of get your mind out of going to a bank and a loan and this process and this underwriting, it can be very simple. It can be very simple.
Yeah.
So simple that I question, like, what is a land trust? What in the world? What is he doing? And you listen to him and you watch his training. It's like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see.
That's the same way I felt. I'm like, my thing was I had to make a decision for me. Let me ask you. I got to get you. I got to get out of here.
Yep.
Tomorrow it's 2:00 Eastern Standard. I'm like, I thought about my life, right? Every man, I'm like, am I going to be a man that puts houses? That's just one question. Am I going to be a man that puts houses in his name? Am I going to do that? Or am I going to do what the wealthy do? Mm-hmm. Am I going to do what the wealthy? I'm like, damn, which way do I want to be? So I had to make for me. I don't know how for you. I want to ask you how it was for you.
When I first heard it, I started seeing it in front of me every single day. So I bank at, I've mentioned this before, I bank at BB&T. My business account is BB&T. Mm-hmm. BB&T is branch, banking, and trust.
That's
and
right.
I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? There's that trust again. My mortgage is with Sun Trust. And I'm like, so all these, it's almost, I heard you say it the other day, and it's an old Jim Rohn. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
That's something, isn't it?
And it's so true. Because I started seeing trust everywhere. I'm like, good grief.
Yeah, my bank is Atlantic Trust.
Yep.
The Union Banking Trust. So anyway.
Yeah, man.
Walk with the wealthy, right?
Yeah, my IRA is with Millennium Trust.
Wow.
Oh my God.
What's weird is well, you always tell me, Kris, it's right there out there. You just got to look for it.
Yeah. Or know what you're looking for.
Know what you're looking for is right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let me get these babies. Read the nighttime story. Kris, it's always an honor to talk to you, my fellow entrepreneur.
Likewise.
Hey, I'll see you soon, bro.
All right, man. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah. Good night.